Hey, welcome, folks. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'elam she'hakol barei.
Amen.
Hi, everybody. We continue with our mimer Hasidic discourse. There were not holidays and celebrations for the Jewish people like the 15th day of Av and Yom Kippur. What's so special about the 15th? Well, 15th of the month, we have a full moon. We have a full moon other times. What's so special about the full moon now? We have two holidays that are on the full moon. Pesach, holiday Passover, and the holiday of Sukkot. So what's so unique about this holiday is because we come from a great downfall, Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. And because of the great fall, many calamities occurred on that day, but beginning with God saying, "You cried for nothing," when the spies came with a bad report about the land of Israel, that they wouldn't be able to conquer it. Bad conclusion, at least, from the report. And so God said, okay, this will be a day of crying, that all those that are of this generation will die out in the desert. And when did that stop? On Tisha B'Av. Right? So what this day embodies is that we come to the ultimate completion from destruction to rebuilding the third holy temple, and it will be something eternal. So what we explained about the eternity is eternal is God. It's the only thing that's eternal. Okay. And of course, our attachment to God. And how will that be eternal down here in the physical world? Well, times of Mashiach, the third holy temple, it will be eternal. And the way we explained it Kabbalistically is it's the name of God that gives vitality to everything. But as we've learned that the Hay, which is the divine presence of God, can go into exile, into a negative place. Right? That's where we are now. And therefore the vitality doesn't come directly from the name of God. It comes from Klipa, from here, falling into Klipa, into the shell that covers over on the presence of God. But something that's never touched in the name of God, if you will, that doesn't fall into a negative place is the first two letters, and a Hey. And they were always there, like two friends that never part from each other. Chachma and Bina are always bound up with each other. And, the unity of God is exemplified there in Chachma and Bina, always bound up. In other words, just to put it into human terms, so we can understand the metaphor of it or the concept of it, is that our Chachma and Bina they always come together. You have an idea, you need to flesh out the idea, right? You have a quintessential point of something. It naturally and automatically goes into Bina to be understood. And that's what Bina is. We translate it as the word understanding. Vav and a Hey of God's name represent the emotions that come into speech. While in the human dimension, your emotions not necessarily do come into speech, right? So they're not bound with each other, first of all, and it's not always. You're always having perspective on life. Your mind is always engaged, right? Now, it might be on a subconscious level that you're not aware of it, but there's always an engagement. There's always, even when you're just kind of daydreaming, you're having perspective on something from Chachma to Bina. There's a constantness there, as opposed to emotions to speech. Speech, as they say, there's a time to speak, there's a time not to speak. So it's not constant, and they're not always, coming together. Vav and a Hey. So, to metaphorically, that means that the power of God that animates the world, in that sense, there's a fluctuation. There can be an up and a down. So you have a Tisha B'Av, that's a down. You have a Tu B'Av, that's an up, right? It's not constant. It's not constant. And therefore not eternal. When is it constant and eternal? Will be in times of Mashiach. The third holy temple will be constant and eternal, because what will happen is the Vav and a Hey will sort of become like the Yud and the Hey. It'll have the same quality of it, meaning always, vibrant and always together, united. But let's, just to make sure we have a clarity on that. Okay. Well, that's the idea of Eschat. And also 515 prayers of Moshe Rabbeinu, 500. It's 5 times 100. It shows on the divine kindnesses of God. And then 15, the number that we're using, right? Again, the name of God, Yud is 10 and Hey is 515. In other words, the kindnesses of God, the way they are in the pleasure of God above, Atik, it's far above and beyond, shines into the Yud and the Hey. And that's what gives it the capability, the Yud and the Hey, to be eternal. Because Atik is the highest level of in Kesser, in the crown, that's above and beyond, that shines into that which is from within, which is Yud and Hey, Chachma and Bina. A bit Kabbalistic over here. This further reflects itself we're talking about creating the home of God, the third holy temple that's eternal, right? In other words, 2 temples were destroyed on the 9th of Av. Tu B'Av is giving us, right, from the lowest low, we're going to the highest of the high, right? Which will be the third holy temple, that will be eternal. So Um, so this will reflect itself also in the Holy Temple, or specifically the Mishkan, as the Torah tells us about the sanctuary that was in the desert that they had for 40 years. And there we also have the concept of 15. The crocheted netting that was the entrance to the Mishkan. Get the picture. Hold on. Let's see. No. Oh, here it is. Okay. This is the Mishkan, right? This is the Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting. It has the Holy of Holies and the Holies, right? This is the courtyard over here. So in front over here, the entrance on the east side, there was a netting that was 15 amas long. Amah is a handbreadth, or not a handbreadth, arm's length, right? 15. Nothing is by accident. Everything is precise. So the number 15 we have there. Okay. So in other words, it's reflected there. Now, what does that mean, that reflection? Okay, well, uh, we'll see further. Okay, so the reason that the 15th of Av, right? Yeah, now let's get back again to we did some Kabbalistic stuff over there. Let's get back to some more, you know, simplistic, if we will. I don't know, simplistic, but the reason why the 15th of Av shines in a revealed way, right? Shines in a revealed way is because the 15th is a completion of the moon, as we said. And yes, it's the 15th of every month, but it comes after Tisha B'Av, right? As we explained, right, earlier. So we need to understand this idea. This idea that there's a full moon, right, on the 15th of the month. What does it mean that there's a full moon? It means only what's revealed. Today is the 18th of the month, right? A few days after the 15th. It's waning, right? And in 10 more days, in 11 more days, won't even see it, right? What does it mean you don't see the moon? Well, is that, what does it mean? What does it mean? Huh? What does it mean? Huh? It just means it's revealed, but it's whole, it's complete. It's whole, complete, right? It just means it's revelation. We don't see it. Like, did the moon become only a sliver? Did the moon become half a moon when you know, at the by the 7th of the month or the 22nd of the month? Does that happen? No. It means the revelation of it for us to see, that's when it's full. But it's full even if I don't see it, right? So we need to appreciate that idea. It's not like the moon was half. Oh, and now it's like, if you brought half a present to your best friend, quarter of a present to your best friend, it's not like, oh, it's just not revealed the rest of it. No, you only brought half. But here it's not there's half a moon. There's only the revelation of the moon's half. Or quarter, or whatever it is, quarter of a moon, right? That's all that means. So we're only talking about the revelation of it. Right? Is that clear? So we need to understand that. Right? Furthermore, the question is even larger. The question is larger because this idea of the revelation of it, right? Okay, so obviously what we must conclude is that the 15th of Av, the greatness of it is the revelation that's in that day, right? As opposed to, you know, the wholeness of the moon that it's revealed rather than there is a whole moon, right? Okay. Okay, furthermore, that we need to understand this idea. It's a little refined, this question. The virtue of the 15th of Av, right, we're saying is revelation of the moon. It's in the revealing, not in the making of it, right? So we need to understand this idea. That's what we're saying is what's happening here. The 15th of the month of Av is a sampling of the final redemption in the times of the Holy Temple. There will be the third and final Holy Temple, which is going to be greater than the first and the second. And it's going to be incomparably greater because it'll be eternal, right? In other words, we're accomplishing something great and new. And as we explained in the Kabbalistic language of this is, right, that what's going to happen, a third holy temple is connected with that the name of God is going to be twice Yud-K, right? Because the Vav and the Hey is going to ascend to a higher level of being similar to the Yud-K, right, as we explained. Right? Nonetheless, what are we connecting this? In other words, we're talking about the eternity of the third Beis Hamikdash. We're talking about the name of God, so to speak. I'm gonna call it changing, but becoming greater, evolving, if you will. Yeah, I don't know if those are right words, but the changing, evolving, I don't think the right words even, does it mean good? But right, which seems to be, it doesn't seem just a revelation of something, right? Which that's what's the 15th of Av we're saying. right? What's on the 15th of Av? The completion of the moon, a complete moon. We have a whole moon, but that's only the revelation of it. So it doesn't. It seems a little incongruent. The what the 15th of Av is about. The moon is revealed as whole, but what it is representing is not just revealing a full moon, it's representing a third and final holy temple that is much greater than the first and the second, that will be eternal. How's it going to be eternal? Well, because name of God, right, is evolved, if you will, into the Vav and the Hey ascending and being imbued with the light of Atik, as we explained, the five kindnesses, the way they're rooted in the divine pleasure that will shine upon it, then it will reveal eternity down here, right? Just as God has pleasure above, he will have divine pleasure down here in a eternal, permanent manner. Well, that doesn't sound just merely revelation. It sounds like you're accomplishing something pretty awesome. So we're left with the question, and we have another question. Which the whole downfall that comes the 15th is only something that happened later. The only thing that happened, right, and even the downfall of the spies is also something that happens after the fact that there's a 15th of the month, right? That is completion, a whole, and revealed, right? Even before those that died in the desert on the 9th and then stopped dying on the 15th. The only thing that came before that is the 15th, which is the crocheted entrance part of the Holy Temple. So like it's not, anyways, I'll have to repeat that question. I went too far. All right.